The stars of animation are shining. It's time to stay tuned. And now, here's your host, Machi.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the premiere of Stay Tuned Live, an all-new live stream talk show presented by Streaming the Magic right here on Facebook. For those of you who know me from my Stay Tuned podcast series, welcome back. If you're new to Stay Tuned, hi there. My name is Machi. I'm an animator, cartoonist, and former cast member from Disney, and I am so thrilled to be your host as we deep dive each week into the world of animated film. Before we get started, I'd like to give a big thank you to Streaming the Magic for giving me the opportunity to bring my passion into your homes anywhere in the world. My special guest tonight is Blaise. Travis has lent his hand to animate Disney characters such as Judge Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Coda from Brother Bear, and the infamous Experiment 626, aka Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. He's here to talk about his time as a Disney animator and where his craft has taken him since then. Ladies and gentlemen, Blaise.
Hello, everybody. Are we going to talk like this the entire time?
I mean, only if you want to.
Only if you want to. Hello there.
Hey, Travis, welcome.
Welcome to you.
Welcome to the show, man.
This is your first one. The first of many, I hope.
I hope it's the first of many as well. Yes.
Oh, if the stories I could tell before I got on board.
Oh, the stories.
Cheers.
Oh, you have your beverage of choice handy. I love it. Well,
I have my water.
Live
water handy.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you so much for being here, Travis. It's truly a joy to be live with you in a virtual sense.
And likewise, you would not believe what I had to go through just to get back into my office to be right here.
But somebody was mentioning that you had to climb through a window. Is that true?
I literally had to climb through a window because I locked myself out 5 minutes before coming on here.
How did you? I mean, it's not related to anything, but I have to ask how that happened. Please.
Well, besides being, an animator, I also apparently am a part-time parkourer into my attic. Actually, to make matters, I had to go 10 feet up to go 10 feet down.
Oh man, well that is the ladder of success right there in a nutshell, I think.
There you go.
You got to take 2 steps forward.
A little out of breath, everybody.
Well, hopefully, let this be a lesson to you, Travis, to never leave something just outside of your arm's reach.
Or have 2 sets of keys to your office door.
That's a lesson. Yeah.
2 sets of keys. That's my words of wisdom. Although I've done this like 4 times now.
Oh, you've locked yourself out of your office.
4 times. Yeah. 4 times.
Well, there's something to be said for learning from past experiences, my friend. So, hopefully there won't be a fit.
Well, there you go. Well, it's always an adventure when we get together, isn't it?
It is. You and I have had some adventures. This is a true story. Yes.
Speaking of adventures.
What's that?
Speaking of adventures, we're here to talk about animation today.
Oh, that's why we're here. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us tonight. And I know that it's probably something that can be taken for granted, having a job someplace, and it becomes not so much a special thing anymore. But for if we're being honest, most of us will never be an animator at Disney. It's just the reality of the situation. So.
Well, I can tell you that over the last 30 years of being in animation, it has definitely evolved. And over time, I've had to re-evolve myself as an artist and an animator and a storyteller many, many times. But I always look back at, I was at Disney for 14 years in the first of my career. And then I went back to Disney again for another 2 years. And I went back again for another year. And, even though you're far, you come back, you come and go. As we do in animation, you're never too far from, your roots where you started. So,
and would you say your leaving and coming back had to do with the general contractual nature of how a lot of animation jobs are, or is that something different?
No, that's just something, you know, for those of you who are just watching this first podcast with the amazing Phil Machi.
Is it a podcast? What is this?
I don't know. This is a streaming live podcast.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, it's called Streaming the Magic.
It is called that.
So,
well,
and we're here today to talk about magic. And I guess the first 14 years of my career, I started in 1990 to 2004. I was at Disney Florida. And so Disney Florida was an amazing studio, and that's where I literally grew up. I started when I was 20 years old, and it was such an amazing adventure to not only be a part of such an incredible team that still influences animation today. Many of the members that started with us in Florida are now directors and Oscar-winning directors that are currently in production, like Dean Dubois and many others. Dean Dubois, who's over at DreamWorks, and we have Paul Briggs, Kevin Dieters. We have so many different people that have come from that start where we were in Florida to now being here. As a matter of fact, Lilo and Stitch, if those of you who don't know, was created and the full production in Florida.
Yeah, so, and that was where that was where Chris Sanders was located as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So now that building, you mentioned the Florida studio, and I remember visiting the Florida studio when I was a kid, and that was such an inspirational building because, you know, they would bring you through on the tours and show you a lot of, I mean, I don't know how legitimate the in-progress stuff was, but they set it up in such a way that it felt like you were walking through an active studio.
And it was an active studio. I mean, the studio opened up in 88, 89. And truth be told, I was one of the first people to sit in the desks before they actually had the artists come in, because they were doing a mock opening with all the people that were cast members and people that were going to be starting. And my older brother, Aaron Blaise, who directed Brother Bear, he was just starting. He'd gone through his internship and just started. So they asked if other artists would volunteer to kind of sit in and pretend to be sitting in these desks. So I could literally say I was one of the first people to sit in those desks, and I was like 19 years old when that happened.
Oh my gosh. Now, was that something you and Aaron, was that a coveted position to you guys growing up? Did you ever talk with each other about, my gosh, wouldn't it be cool if we could work there, or did it not really come about that?
Well, since it was one of the first things that, I mean, that was the first, literally that studio in 88, 89 in MGM, or I guess they call it Hollywood, MGM at Hollywood now.
Yeah, and now it's the Disney Hollywood Studios, I believe.
Disney Hollywood Studios. Well, at the time, it was a small crew of about 75 people total. That's non-artistic and artistic, and their job was to create short films. And one of the first productions they worked on was Tummy Troubles with the Roger Rabbit. So when that happened, they had so many great animators that started there, like Alex Cooperschmidt and Mark Henn, and so many others that Ruben Aquino. There are so many people that started that studio. The Bancrofts, Tony and Tom Bancroft, including my brother Aaron. They all started with the studio, and then 2 years later, or a year later, about a year and a half later, I started as an intern there while still in college. So what started as a small kind of fledgling studio that was meant to kind of create shorts and assist, and then at the same time the guests could come in and actually see us work, it then moved on to us creating Lilo and Stitch, Mulan, and of course Brother Bear. Those were three productions that were fully done in the Florida studios. But at the time,
didn't fire anything out to France or anything like that?
We did it. You know, we had 16 years of this studio being there. And so in those 16 years, you know, we worked on numerous films. Like myself, I was able to work on Beauty and the Beast. I worked on Aladdin, Lion King, Pocahontas, Mulan, Hunchback, Lilo and Stitch, Brother Bear, Tarzan. I was working on a short film called How to Haunt a House, which was a MouseWorks production.
Yeah.
Even during some downtimes, we even worked on the Sega Genesis games. If you guys knew this, the Lion King and Aladdin, remember those? Those were actually the first traditionally drawn video games. I didn't know this.
First ever?
It was one of the first ones.
What about
did that?
What's that one with the was it Dragon Quest? What's the one with that knight?
Dragon's Lair.
What's that one?
Dragon's Lair. That was that was Don Bluth.
That came later, or that was after that?
Oh, that was early on. That's when we were still in that's when I was still in high school.
Okay. Yeah, but wasn't that animated, or was that game made?
That was a Don Bluth production.
Yeah.
But yes.
Okay.
So
but these were the first ones from Disney. The Aladdin.
The first traditionally like console game.
Okay.
Built and designed. Instead of drawing on the computer, we hand drew everything, and we also had to clean it up and color it. So the difference was, rather than doing 24 frames per second, which is typically what we would work in, which means we had up to 24 drawings we could make to make a fluid animation, we ended up doing these, that one action that would have taken 20 drawings, we had to do in 3. So we had to be very clever in how we created our in-betweens to stretch in and out of the key poses in order for those things to work. So in a nutshell, though, 16 years the studio was open, and during that time, or during I was there 14 years. It was really the birth of my beginnings as an animator and as an artist and as a storyteller, and it was truly one of the best experiences I ever had.
So when did things flip for you, where it was like you're coming in and you're doing the grunt work, and then all of a sudden it's like, bam, we're giving you more responsibility, and now you're fast tracking into being a main character animator?
It really was up to us. I mean, there was no stress to want to be at a certain level. I mean, I wanted to be, the moment I got into animation and the moment I started, because I was an illustrator, I didn't know I wanted to be an animator until I actually took the internship, or at least rather when I saw my brother take this internship with Disney, did I see the opportunity there to create something phenomenal. Where Disney was looking at visual artists, people like myself that were trained academically, that could figure draw, that could draw animals and paint and illustrate. They were looking for people like us because they wanted to train us a certain way to get into the animation world. And it was pretty remarkable to see my brother's tests. And then when I actually was able to get the internship myself through a portfolio and just rigorous drawing every day, I then went in, and the moment I started moving that bouncing ball and the flour sack and then did my first walk, I was hooked, and that was it. And so for me, I was in cleanup like most of us started. If you wanted to go into become an animator, you typically started in the cleanup department and you kind of worked your way through. And it wasn't until probably midway through Lion King that I took a test and was able to become an animator during Pocahontas. And so from Pocahontas throughout the rest of until 2004, I was a character animator for Disney then. And then from there, when the studio unfortunately closed its doors in Florida, I saw new opportunities that came about. I got into the animation world of TV animation and went to Cartoon Network and found a whole nother world there. And ironically enough, I ended up going back into Disney TV much later.
So was there, and I've wondered this for a long time, was there a point where, because obviously traditional animation at Disney has taken a distinct turn elsewhere. Was there a point when you were working in the Florida studio where the writing was kind of on the wall and people were kind of whispering behind closed doors? Like, which movie were you on when that sort of conversation was happening? I mean,
are you talking about the eventual shutdown of the studio?
Yeah. Or the transition to 3D or any of those?
Well, the transition of 3D had already happened, and many of us were already being trained or transitioning into training as a 3D animator. So they were giving us a lot of – Disney was very good, and it still is very good about training their artists on other things, continual education, as we like to call it. So at any given time, you could learn. If you were an animator, wanted to learn background painting, you learn background painting. If you wanted to have figure drawing classes or sculpting classes, you could do that, or improv classes, you could do that. So it was, we knew the kind of the writing was on the wall when we started training in the computer animation world, because we had a particular film that was going to be a hybrid. It was going to be a combination of 3D and 2D, and that was called A Few Good Ghosts. And Barry Cook, who had
A Few Good Ghosts?
Ghosts.
I wasn't sure if you said goats.
No, but there's another funny story for that. But that's for another day.
Okay.
It wasn't until then that we were working on that, and Barry Cook, who had worked on and co-directed with Tony Bancroft Mulan, was directing this production. And I was actually slated to work with the amazing Alex Cooper-Schmidt, who did Khan and the supervisor of Stitch, who was my mentor, and also worked on The Horse Untangled and is still at Disney today doing amazing work over there. He and I were going to be doing the 2D animation for, I was going to do a possum character, and he was going to do the old man that was this character in the movie that had a pet possum. So we had our role slated, and then one day the project went away. And soon after that, we were announced that the studio was going to be shutting down. And many of us, found other avenues to work. And then those who stayed with Disney moved on to LA, like my brother. And
there's a lot of projects that sort of rise and fall over time. Some of these films, they'll go a couple of years into production, and then they just sort of, like you said, they vanish. Would you say that they still sit on, as a company, a huge wealth of these unfinished projects?
I mean, all studios have a bunch of projects that they've either put into development or, and sometimes they bring back. That's just part of the nature of developing. You develop something, and if it doesn't work for that moment or that time, they put money into these productions, but they don't want to. They'll put it on the shelf, and maybe one day later they can pull it back out again, and maybe it's the right time for that production, and they'll start developing it again. It's very, King, Brother Bear was an original idea that had been floating around for several years before it became the vision that it was, that Aaron created with Bob and Chuck. And so, it's not uncommon to see, and that's that's probably to say the same for all studios like Warner Brothers or Sony or any of the DreamWorks. There's so many productions, and now you're seeing a resurgence of old ideas becoming live action films, right? Like Mulan,
right.
And there's even talks about Stitch, and so you're seeing, and Lion King, of course, and Jungle Book, and so there's many different iterations. Some people like it, some people don't, but that's the nature of the business of development and creating stories, either new stories or revamping old ones to kind of repackage and remarket.
Well, you've mentioned Stitch a couple times, so let's go to talk about him for a little bit, if that's okay.
Oh, okay. I mean, is this something where we wanted to do? I don't know, since this is the first time we're doing this. Do we have people that want to ask questions?
Well, I definitely want to get. If people do have questions, definitely put them in the comments, and maybe we'll address them towards the end. And I'll keep a running tally on the questions here.
Yes.
But let me first ask you this. So, it's kind of funny how I think it's funny how time fades things into obscurity. But if you remember when Lilo and Stitch first came out, Disney had this really funny ad campaign where Stitch would invade fondly remembered scenes from other Disney films. He was he was crashing the party, and the party was Disney animated films themselves. So as an animator of Stitch, which you were you instructed by the director to communicate the idea of him as a kind of a bad boy?
He was, well, I mean, I guess you could consider him the bad boy. I mean, in the storylines,
Jasmine. He stole Jasmine in that little preview, that old commercial.
Yeah, and that was all marketing. That was all done by. That wasn't done by the studio, the actual creators of the movie itself. That was a marketing campaign that was created after the fact. But you had lots of ideas. That the whole idea behind Stitch was, he was this misfit character who was just misunderstood, and he was created. It's like you have a vision for a creation, and then what it ends up being is its own destination or own destiny can't be foretold. It has to be a journey to make for itself. And so you have an intention of one idea, and then all of a sudden, as it evolves, it becomes something completely different. That's kind of the idea, I think, for me when I was working on the production. I saw Stitch as this creature who had a purpose, but since it had a mind of its own and its own thoughts and ideas, and as it was learning, it was realizing the path that it was supposed to take wasn't the path at all. So instead of destruction, it realized, putting things back together was better, and having a family was more important. And that Ohana theme is a classic theme, that family is everything. Ohana means family, and no one gets left behind. That was the one thing that, the message that was kind of being transpired throughout the entire thing. And what better way to kind of create a message like that than to have a character like Stitch? I mean, because essentially when you create iconic stories like that, typically the main characters are slightly broken. And we watch their journey as they go through life, and they start to learn lessons and mend the parts that are broken and become a better whole at the end. And that's the beauty of developing and making these films.
I have to ask, because in that movie there's a wonderful little moment or portion where Stitch learns about the ugly duckling. The art that's in the storybook that he's looking at, is that from the old Disney Ugly Duckling?
No, I think that was all, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, most of the original stuff is that's all influenced from Chris Sanders. I mean, Chris Sanders was just amazing artist, and still is. I mean, he's since transferred into live action, and he's created things like The Croods, and he started with How to Train Your Dragon with Dean Dubois, and they've done a number of different projects together. And so you see Chris's artwork is definitely, the entire film is Chris's drawings really coming to life.
Okay.
I mean, it was the support of everyone. Now remember, these movies it takes a team. That's why animation is such a beautiful thing. Is like you take someone's vision, and it takes about 240, 260 of us to kind of make that vision work. Every cog in the wheel has an important place, from the camera to sound editing to the in-betweener, to the cleanup artist, to the character designer, to the background artist, to the storyboard artist, to the art director, to the producer, to the associate producer, the production assistants, and all the above. We all play a part in making this movie what it is. And so during that scene, it was very heavily influenced by Chris Sanders. Is
there a film or any particular contribution you did while you were at Disney where Travis's influence comes through the most, and you're like, whenever I see that, I feel like that's my stamp of Travis?
Oh God. You don't, as an animator, I think at that time, being an animator, a character animator for Disney for traditional was a big honor. I mean, as every position to work on a Disney film like that, because, you don't look, it isn't until you look back on it, because I grew up literally in this industry, and I didn't realize the influence that we had until I was dating someone who was a teacher, a music teacher, and they were doing the play of Beauty and the Beast. And this was 2 decades later. And it was amazing to think that, what we did when I was 20, 21 is still a relevant thing that they do as plays in high school. Yeah. And Lion King, I mean, these were like iconically movies that will stand a test of time way past when we're gone. And right. It's really cool. So I think Stitch would be the one where I felt like Alex Cooper-Schmidt really gave me a lot of leeway as my lead, as my supervisor, and as my mentor. He gave me a lot of leverage as to how I create things. And he was really good about allowing my acting to come out. And I really felt comfortable with that. And ironically, when I went to Brother Bear, I was slated to actually animate Kenai Human, and I didn't want to do it. I was in character designing with it, and I was doing a lot of small stuff before then with Varun Beneke, who designed all the characters. And at the end of the day, I wasn't happy in that role. I wanted to go back to drawing animals, and I ended up working with Alex again. I said, they asked me, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I want to work with Alex. So I ended up doing a lot of work with Coda. And I think if you've ever seen Brother Bear, there's there's a lot of things in Brother Bear and coda scenes that, again, you know, thanks to Alex, you know, allowed me to do these really awesome scenes that, you know, and otherwise an A-list actor like or, you know, a supervising animator may have taken, but he had a lot of trust in what I did and allowed me to kind of shine. And I'm really thankful for those opportunities. It really helped me become a better animator and a better actor. Well,
we mentioned, and that's fantastic, referring to it as acting, because it is.
By the way, you can see this. These are, I was pulling up, I have old concept art from
oh my gosh.
Chris Sanders. We're talking about Chris Sanders, right? Early on. You know, how his influence, you know, this is pre Alex Cooper-Schmidt's pass over animation. And these would have been,
Go ahead, pop it up again, Travis. Pop that up again so I can.
Look, I'm just going to show you a few things. You know, every artist, every animator, you know, we're allowed to be given concept art, you know, that we've kept throughout the ages. And so these are copies that we keep in our library of things, and many of us have them. And they're treasure pieces for us, you know. This was a reference piece. These are actual storyboards. That would have been actually storyboards from the movie itself that they pulled together. We pulled together and turned into model sheets. And those were like the prelims to, because there was a certain energy and a certain kind of motivation in acting that was in there that really helped us in our animation itself. So, you know, I've just had all kinds of wonderful things like this. This would have been early on. I'm not sure if Alex did these or if Chris did these, but these were early on concept as well of Stitch as too. So
those are great.
Yeah, and it's just, again, these aren't originals. These are copies that we've had, and again, we've cherished over the years. I love this one right here, the one where he's caught smiling. This is just the attitude and the emotion that comes out in this drawing alone is really. And that's what we looked at these for the moments. I mean, there's a part in here like this shot. This is storyboarded out. I actually animated the scene when he's escaping in the red ship. You know, the red one?
Yeah.
The red one. He took the red one. I got to animate a small portion of that in there, and that was really, really fun to do. There's just a lot of great, you know, more than anything for me, it was a lot of great memories of the people, the relationships that were created, the lifelong relationships that we created with all of us, you know, that 30 plus years, I still consider Alex a brother, you know, he's somebody that's that, you know, he just celebrated his 60th birthday and I just celebrated my 50th last month. So there you go.
I wouldn't have been able to guess that. So you're looking good, sir.
30 years. Yes, my camera keeps changing from blue to orange.
I see that. So, I have to ask, when you were there, did you ever pitch? Did you get to a point where you pitched an idea for a movie?
I was always there when people were pitching ideas, but no, I never pitched a concept or an idea for a movie there. Although, you know, that's how Aaron ended up getting Brother Bear. Is, you know, he heard this rumor going around with this project. And so he wanted to put his name in a hat because he loved drawing bears. As we know, if anyone knows my family, we're a bunch of wildlife fanatics. And Aaron in particular, you know, he started drawing wildlife at the age of like 7 and 9. And it was pretty remarkable, you know, that he asked, you know, he put his foot, he said, hey, let me try. He'd never directed, never done anything. This was the first time doing it. And they gave him a shot at it. And, you know, that's how Brother Bear was kind of started. So
that's excellent.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit ago about how things are changing, how the industry has been evolving. I've been following, you know, your work lately online, and you seem to be really embracing how technology is changing traditional animation.
Well, I think that we have to, as artists, we have to evolve, not just with technology, but with the current state, you know, with how things are in life and how we are doing things. You know, one of the most beautiful ways of telling stories is through animation, through the art of animation. It's one of the most remarkable storytelling mediums that we can use. And I finally decided 10 years ago, when I got into story, I fell in love with story so much, and I've dedicated I think the rest of my career that I want to dedicate towards storytelling and visual storytelling with with animation. And so, you know, that's brought me to a path of learning, and with the situation that's currently happening with COVID and the remarkable changes that we've needed to have happen in our country and in the world. The one of the best ways, I think, and most positive ways that we can have a voice is through storytelling and through animation, something that will carry on and pass. I mean, think about how we've created these stories that have iconically changed multiple millions of people around the world. It's affected them. It's their childhood. It's nostalgia. And, you know, and here we are in a place of putting stories out there in a positive light to kind of influence and hopefully encourage others to do the same. So I've sort of evolved with that technology. And yes, I'm online a lot now. And that was through the encouragement of my brother, who's been online and doing a lot of this tutorials that he's doing. But on top of that, I felt the need as an artist to teach, you know, to figure out a way that I can embrace all the experiences that I've learned, and how can I, since I'm not at Disney anymore and I'm not, you know, in that realm, how can I put myself out there and still make a living, right? We still need to put a roof over our head and put food in our mouths. And so I've sort of started this, a couple months ago, I started doing, January, I started doing live streams, and I started doing this all free to kind of build, I guess a positive audience of people that like the way I teach or like the way I'm approaching animation, or because the whole goal is to inspire, and then eventually work into, hey, you know, join my Patreon page, or hey, you know, I'm going to be doing these tutorials. If you like the way I teach, please purchase them, you know, try them, because that's a part of me is giving back, and also hopefully making a living out of that as well.
Your company is called Sketch to Animate, right? That's the name.
It's called Sketch to Animate. So it's Sketch to Animate, and the idea behind that, and it was surprising. I looked online, nobody had it. Sketch to Animate and everything in between. It's basically meaning every story begins with a sketch, and Sketch to Animate is you start with a sketch, you end with animation, and it's sort of Sketch to Animate and everything in between is sort of everything that evolves from the concept to the finished piece. And so I kind of built that brand, that idea to have that. And the whole motivation behind Sketch to Animate is to build a world of storytellers to help teach, educate, entertain, and inspire. That's the whole,
love it.
That's the whole nut and bolts of the whole idea that I have. So,
and you're teaching more, it's not necessarily teaching someone how to draw like Travis, it's more teaching general concepts or something like that.
Well, you know, for me, the way we were taught at Disney and art is being, think of like an apprentice, a mentee mentor. Everything is very hands-on. And one of the ways I learned is literally giving a piece of paper to an artwork or an animation scene to my mentor, like Alex, and then having Alex sit down, look at the scene and go, you know, this looks great, but how about we do this? And then key by key going over and redrawing over my stuff. And not only am I seeing him improve my artwork and seeing where I can improve, but I'm also seeing his thought process. And that's that hands-on kind of drawing over approach is very essential for animation production. And we use it every day. If I'm working on a production where I'm storyboarding and I have a director that I'm working for, 9 times out of 10, I'll get notes and they'll draw over in red. And what I'm doing is I'm getting to understand that director's particular tastes for comedy or for staging. And so that allows me to kind of grow. And so I wanted to incorporate that concept into the way I do the way I approach things, especially through Sketch to Animate. So not only am I developing my own content, which I'm actually live streaming a development of a show that I want to pitch called Arc. And I'm showing people from how I develop it from concept all the way through to animation. And I'm basically leaving myself vulnerable to the world. Like it's live, like I'm figuring this out as I go, but I want people to see how I approach things. And it's not that I want you to do it my way. I want you to see how I do it so you can find your own path, because that's who we are as artists. We have to learn from the people that are in front of us so that we can then move forward and create our own path. And that's kind of how animation has been for me. And because I'm constantly learning, there's always something new every day that I can learn. And it's a beautiful thing for me to be able to have that. I learn from every moment that I sit down and I do these live streams and I talk to people and I engage with them. So it's pretty cool.
Do you have a little bit of time to do some drawing for us, for everyone watching right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. My face is gonna have to get a little closer to the screen.
Well, I can mess around with that a little bit.
So, a little birdie told me that you like Stitch. And
I do like Stitch.
Yeah, there's my pen. So I'm just gonna sit here and doodle as we talk. But
yeah.
The cool thing is I've got a couple of cool things to share. I don't know if people have questions, but
there are some questions actually. While you're doing that, maybe I'll just start lobbing the questions your way.
Sure. Yeah.
So we've got. Let's see here. Let me see how far back we've got. Questions that are relevant. Let me see if I can find a
questions that are relevant.
We got somebody saying, Lon Smart says hello.
Lon Smart. Lon's a fantastic. Lon and I started in college together. We were roommates. He started at Disney a few years after me. Worked in the cleanup department. Lon, do you still work at Disney in Disney Design, the Disney Design Group? I think he was still working at the time, or still is doing stuff with Disney.
Let's see. We got Sandra Maurer saying, "Thank you for sharing this, Travis."
Oh, thank you for being a part of this.
We got Tabitha and her son loves Coda. So
nice.
Brother Bear love in the audience.
That's awesome.
We got Victoria saying she loves those Stitch concept drawings. They're so cool. And then we got Britt. Here's Britt asking a question. She says, how tricky is it to get a pitch in for an animation company? And she says, I've been working on a pitch for the past year, but I'm struggling to reach out to someone.
Well, to be truthful, somebody like myself who's been in the industry a long time, it's still hard at times to get in. But when you're in the world of animation and you've been doing it as long as I have, it does get easier to get a foot in the door. But really, if you have a great idea, I think one of the really good ways is to, if you really feel like it's an honestly, genuinely good idea, is to find an animation rep, somebody that understands the industry and somebody that will look at your project and believe in it, and hopefully have a way to kind of put a foot in the door for you to get a meeting with any studio. Remember, there's not just Disney. There's so much opportunity right now, and during this time, animation is the one particular field where we're even with working remotely, we're kicking butt right now. Where everyone is not slowing down. We can still all work remotely and still produce the same amount of work. I've been doing this 3 years now, almost 4 years, working remotely. I just finished up a feature film with Warner Brothers with the amazing Sam Levine, who's currently in production with that project. That's called Super Pets. I was storyboarding, I was doing some character designing, and I was also doing some test animation for that production. So that was a really awesome experience. And I guess I can make it official. I just accepted an offer with Netflix. So,
well, hey, congratulations!
Thank you, man. I'm going to be I guess a Netflix employee for a production that I was really excited about, and a friend of mine was producing.
Is that sort of like a contract, a temporary contract, or is it like you are?
No, in this industry, if people don't understand, in this industry, you are work for hire. And typically they're at will contracts, and you work for a particular production, and during that time, because depending on, like, if you're in TV, let's say, and you work on a production for a couple of years, and your time is sort of ending on that production, other producers from other shows start looking at you, and it's not unlikely for you to get picked up to go onto another show. So you just simply stay with that studio. And if there is no production at the time for you to jump onto, then your tenure ends. And that's sort of the nature of the beast, if you will, in terms of how this industry works.
You were mentioning, or I was hearing something about that you've got a side-scrolling video game that you're working on.
Oh, well, I among other ideas, I've been developing my own projects, but I've recently had people asking me if I could work on as a freelancer. If it's animation related, you kind of pick up whatever you can in terms of production. So I've worked on things with, as far as those goldfish commercials. The goldfish. Now they've turned them into like these mini series ad campaigns, and so I storyboarded a couple episodes of that. There's also what else? There's I worked for Pixamundo with Tony Bancroft, and when he's directed productions and projects with them for doing various freelance productions. I've worked on Big Mouth. I was on the first season of Big Mouth as a story artist. I've worked on a couple of episodes of Disenchantment for the Netflix production that Matt Groening created through Rough Draft, another fantastic studio. I've worked on Class of 3000. I was a storyboard artist on that. I've done character designs for Nickelodeon. I'm just trying to think of.
Everyone just kind of floats around and kind of bumps into to old friends every now and then. Is that kind of how it is?
Animation industry is a small industry, and if you're a good artist, I would say anyone that wants to break into this industry, one of the key things that I want to say is that really, really have good communication skills, have a really positive attitude. Having a positive attitude and really listening, put on your listening skills and really take those positive criticisms will go a long way. I mean, and be really efficient with your time management. As a freelancer, it's you work from home, and so Sundays could be Mondays, or Saturdays could be Fridays. It all depends on your work schedule.
We got a watcher from Zanisha, or her name is Zanisha. She says she's watching from Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of nice to know how widespread the viewership is of this right now.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
I know we got some folks in here from Ohio, from Austin. Follow-up question from Britt, who asked the question earlier.
Oh, what's that?
She says, do you need an agent to help you deliver the pitch when you're trying to get your foot in the door, or can you reach out to anyone in the animation industry that you have good connections with?
A lot of, it depends. I mean, my story is going to be my story. It's going to be a unique situation. If I've pitched ideas. I'm still in the process of wanting to pitch more ideas. If I have a concept, the likelihood of me being able to call up, let's say, a studio like Disney TV or somebody and saying, hey, I'd like to be able to have an opportunity to pitch, is a good opportunity, because they I've been, I guess, vetted. They know who I am. They know that I understand the industry, and so they're willing to hear ideas from people like that. It really, what I would say is, animation is the perfect time to get in the industry if you want to create independent productions as well. I'm developing an online presence through my YouTube and through other
YouTube. Travis, where is that YouTube?
You can find me at youtube.com/sketch-to-animate. And as a matter of fact, I even started my own website, which is sketch-to-animate.com. And if you sign up for Sketch to Animate, you actually get a nice original illustration of mine that you can download for free.
Well, there you go. How's that?
Yeah, and we're in the next month or so, we're going to have an online store with Sketch to Animate, and I have also a Patreon page called.
Where that is?
It's patreon.com/Sketch to Animate, and it essentially is a place where, if you understand Patreon, it's sort of there to help support the free stuff that I'm giving back to. And so I started a new venture. As of today, I'm going to be doing Draw Over Mondays. And essentially what that is anyone in the industry that wants to get feedback from myself and wants to learn from somebody like me, if you have character designs or storyboards or animation, if you're part of this tier, I'm going to be doing drawovers every Monday, and I'll have like a private group session with people to kind of guide them through their through whatever projects they're working on, and give them any kind of advice or feedback to the best of my ability. You know, but Patreon is also there to kind of help support artists that are trying to give back. You know, it's a means of trying to make an income doing this independent type of work. So, and
can you tell us a little bit about why you just drew over the original drawing that you were drawing?
Oh, because I didn't like it. I mean, why not? Like, you know, I what I do is I do what we call gesture poses, and I'm trying to, you know, I'll start off with maybe doing a simple thing like this, and then maybe his one foot will come up and his other foot comes down, and maybe one arm is coming here and the other arm is coming down, and then I'll build a drawing over that. You know, I'll build a design over that gesture that I'm doing, so that I can, and it's just, you know, I always say I draw fast because I forget. I won't, if I draw too slow, I'll forget what I was drawing. So I constantly am trying to kind of find other ways of drawing this character, and finding, basically exploring the poses that are possible with him.
Okay. And you're really embracing this Calipeg program. That's a pretty new piece of software, correct?
So yeah, there's a program that I have right now called Calipeg. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get rid of this because I don't like that guy. I don't like this one either. So I'm going to hide him. There, I still like this drawing the most.
Yeah, that was great.
Maybe this drawing is, maybe he's holding. You know what? He's holding a book, right?
Oh, book.
A book. There we go. We'll have him hold a book, and maybe that book is.
It's To Serve Man. It's a little Twilight Zone reference for you guys.
Yes. So, do we have any other questions so far?
There was a lot of congratulations coming in from various people for your Netflix venture.
Oh yeah, that's the first time I've actually announced it to anybody. It just literally was the first time to kind of like let people know. And you know, I try not to make a big deal out of it, simply because I've been working. You know, I work in this industry, and it's typical to go from project to project,
yeah,
and studio to studio. And as I've grown older, one of the things that I've really want to take notice of is, especially when you know, for those of you that want to work at Disney, I say, you know, really work hard towards those goals and what you want, but also, you know, it's really important not only to just to find the right people, to find the right circle of friends and people that, when I look at productions, I look at the people that are working on those productions. You know, are they artist friendly? Do they have you know, diversity in who they hire, and what is their work ethics like, and what are their storytelling is like? You know, what types of movies are they producing, and does that fit me? You know, I worked for one of the best studios in the world, and I can honestly say, you know, the studio with Disney in Florida was probably one of the best experiences I'll ever have, and I've been able to carry that onto each production with me, and I really think I learned a lot in that time that I was with Disney, because it really taught me the value of friendships, the value of work ethics, and the value of, you know, telling a good story. And a lot of my good friends are still over there today, even though I'm not there. But I'm okay with the idea of not working at Disney, because there's animation community as a whole is one big family. And
that's really good to hear. That's really good to hear.
It's great. I love seeing other artists out there making their own path and making their own independent films and trying to create their own voice, because that's really what we're here for. We're artists, and we're trying to create a voice for ourselves, and we just want to be heard, right?
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Well, by the way, Lon Smart says Disney Florida rules.
Yes,
and
thank you, Lon. That's very true.
A couple more questions popped in. We got one question from I guess the Streaming the Magic page itself. It's Magic.
Yes.
It's magic. The question is coming from this page. The question is, can you give us any more info on the Netflix project, or is it still tight-lipped?
No, what I can give is what is already out there to the internet. So it's a project involving the amazing writer Kenya Barris and an amazing talent musician named Kid Cudi. And it's a feature film. There's already people working on it now, and they've been working on it for a while. And I've sort of come into it late in the game. But it's one of the things that sold me on the idea or the project was the artists that were working on it. The producer is an amazing producer, and just the level of talent and the caliber of storytelling that that's going to be involved in this project is really amazing. And people like Kenya Barris, who's created Blackish and Black AF, just amazing productions, and really funny guy and very relevant. It was amazing to be able to even have an opportunity to work on a project like this, and so I'm excited for that part of it. As far as that goes, I can't really say much more about it. I mean, just because it's still in production, and that's how the nature of the beast. You can only say what's out there, and that's as far as it can go. But I can tell you that it's a great mix of talented people that are involved in the project, and I'm excited that I can even be a part of it, which is really nice. Plus, I'm kind of a hip hop kid. I grew up in the 80s, and I was that kid that's like lived and eat and breathed hip hop, old school hip hop all the way through the 90s, and it's something that was sort of ingrained in me as a young kid. So I've always been a part of that. So to be, again, I was able to be a part of Class of 3000, which was Andre 3000 from Outkast, created this show on Cartoon Network. And I helped out with all the music video portions of that. So that was another fun opportunity for me to kind of be a part of something that was musically driven. And I just want to be a part of projects that I feel good about. Right.
Yeah.
I've worked on projects that I've said, hey, these are great projects, but they're not for me. And so I've left them for, just because I felt like it wasn't resonating for who I am as a person or an artist. And that's okay.
Well, that's good. You have to have the resilience and the strength to be able to know when it's not for you. And that can be, I'm sure that can be difficult in an industry where you're, like you said, contract for hire sort of a thing.
Yeah, it's feast or famine, but it's you have to. There's a point in your life, I feel like, and I understand as a person that's going into this world that you want to put a stamp. It comes a point in your time that you have to feel good about what you get involved in. You have to honestly have a heart to heart with yourself and say, does this work with my soul? Does this work with who I am as an artist? And if it does, that's great. There's no judgment at all. And, for me, I've sort of, as I've gotten older, I've wanted to make a pledge to myself that I would only work on projects that I felt resonated with me. And first and foremost, I were projects that I really connected with the believe it or not, more about the artists, because I really, no one wants to work with someone who's difficult to work with on both sides. I don't want to be a difficult person to work for or work with, and I don't want to work with someone who's difficult either. So it's, you kind of have to make those decisions for yourself.
How was working with your brother? I have to imagine there was.
Well, speaking of difficult, no, Aaron and I got to tell you, during Brother Bear, he wasn't very happy when I decided I didn't want to work on Kenai Human, but the amazing Jim Jackson kicked butt and made it an amazing character. And I say, everyone it evolved into where it needed to be naturally. But Aaron and I would get into these fights, yes, as brothers. Yeah. And sometimes we may or may not have forgotten that we were in a professional environment. So therefore, we may have had, gotten into our little sibling rivalry without realizing where we were. But you know what? As funny as that may sound, we were always among friends. Remember, I started in an industry when I was 20, and most of these people I've known for 30 years. So I literally grew up with them. So we're like family in a lot of ways. So the people that were, working in these shows, like Chuck or Bob Walker, who, Bob has passed away a couple of years back. Bob was like, they were like family. They treated me like like that little annoying brother they had or didn't have.
Is that movie has a lot of that rivalry within the family unit there.
It's very much, and that's the thing as a story artist now, the importance of pulling, as an actor, an animator, as a cleanup artist, you have to find what makes it personal for you to make that production enjoyable. And as a story artist, I'm learning a lot that, it's really important to pull those ideas from within. The more you can take your own experiences and add it to a character or to a movie or a show, the more believable that character becomes, and it makes for a better performance. So it's really important to kind of try to pull that inner acting out of yourself, and from those experiences, rise above and create some remarkable characters as a result.
I have to ask, and again, personal experiences. That's an excellent point, by the way, that on how to make something feel more alive. But I have to. I'm getting distracted by the drawing. Why did you go grayscale? And I'm not complaining. I'm just curious.
Oh, because I'm a storyboard artist now. Don't you know? We're always gray. We're always black and white.
You're right. That's very true. Yeah.
No, I just naturally just went this route because of how I storyboard now. I mean,
I like it. I like it.
I always teach. Storyboarding is tone. Use color when it's a story point or it's important for like flame or fire, things that are related to a story point or a prop that's integral part of the storytelling. You'll sometimes use color, but if you see animatics, you see storyboards. Most of the time, it's black and white, right? It's I could add a little blue, like I could add a little.
It wasn't a judgment. It was
a little yellow just to pop him out a little bit.
There you go. I like it. There is one more question in the room, and then at that point, well, I'm gonna have to probably say thank you for being here.
You kick me off now, huh? I see how you are.
I'm trying to keep things to a temper, or tapered, whatever the word I'm looking for is.
Well, we've passed the half-hour mark. I can tell you that.
We did pass a half an hour, and I'm okay with that because
he was going to boot me, guys. After a half an hour, he's going to say, "You're out of here."
Look, I was trying to figure out a structure.
You're trying to figure out a way to let me down gently. We're going to do this, and then you're gonna go bye-bye.
That's right. So we got Scott in the room here, and Scott wants to know if now this is a really specific question, so I don't expect you to know the answer, Travis. But
okay.
Scott is wondering if Warner Brothers or Disney have any ideas related to their title characters playing basketball on a unified sports team through the Special Olympics. It's a very specific question.
Are you talking about Space Jam?
No, I think the central.
They're working on Space Jam 2 right now.
They are working on Space Jam 2, but the question is the Special Olympics getting brought into any of this?
That would be an amazing thing if they did, and I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I knew that answer, and I apologize for not having that answer for you, but it would be pretty awesome. I see the world. We see the world changing. History is happening in the moment live, and a lot of good things that need to happen are happening. And I'm hoping that, if not our generation, hopefully our generation and moving over, that we're going to see a lot of positive changes in our world and our culture and the way we tell stories and the way we are honest with each other. And I'm hoping that we're going to see a lot of really good concepts and artists and art stories and projects come out of this.
Absolutely. And if you have that idea and no one out there is currently making it happen, then, take it yourself and run with it, I would say.
Yeah. Is there any other questions from people?
There was Lon Smart is jumping in with great interview with a great artist. So that is a comment from Lon Smart.
I'll pay you later, Lon. Thanks. PayPal, is that what it was?
That's probably correct.
No.
I know. I'm just kidding. Well, first of all, thank you for being here on this premiere episode of Stay Tuned Live, Travis, and thank you for the wonderful Stitch drawing. My gosh, I love it.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking over at my other screen. I haven't looked up to see what it looks like, but this is going to be for you, Phil.
Thanks, man. I know I recently had a birthday, so I will consider that a birthday present.
And I recently had a birthday too. And where's my present?
Wait a second. Are you a June birthday?
No, I was May 1st. I turned 50 May 1st.
Oh no, when I say recent, Travis, I mean
okay, a month ago. Who's counting straws here? Come on.
Yeah, I know. I'm splitting hairs. Streaming the Magic as a page says thank you, Travis.
Well, thank you very much, and I hope this becomes a regular thing. And I really wish the best for Phil. And Phil's not just a great person; he's a great podcaster and storyteller. And I mean, you kind of lead this really well. I think this kind of is a natural fit for you.
Thank you.
And also, you're working on your own little production, I think.
I am working on my own production. I am. I'm not sure that anyone wants to hear about that right now, but
you know what? All animation is important. All stories need to be told, and I would love to hear it someday.
I will tell you all about it, and if I get enough people wanting to hear about it on here, maybe next week I'll talk about it a little bit. But I do want to read a couple more things. People remember where to find you, Travis. We got Britt is saying happy belated birthday to you. We got a reminder that sketchtoanimate.com is the website. We have got, let's see, I'm reminding you guys to look up Travis on YouTube. Sketch to Animate is his handle on there. And Facebook as well, right? You live stream on Facebook, or are you not doing that?
I live stream on Facebook. I live stream on Twitch and Twitter. And YouTube, all at the same time. And you can always find me at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm probably going to switch to 1 day a week since I'm going to be starting this new position as of next week. I'm going into this new production with Netflix, and then, but I'll still be doing my live stream at least once a week. And then this new venture in the mornings on Monday. If you go to my Patreon page and you want to have questions or advice or drawovers, if you feel the need, be a part of the tier and see what, it should be fun. It's my first time doing this, so who knows?
Well, I think it's a great resource you're offering, Travis. First of all, for those of you who don't know about Patreon, it's a really wonderful way to directly support an artist instead of roundabout supporting them. But in Travis's case, he's it's like you're getting a one-on-one, like you said, a mentor-mentee relationship, and I think that's really a valuable service.
I think it's important. It's we'll see. It's gonna be. I'm gonna have an amazing moderator, Wink Winkler, who's been a good friend of mine for years. He's gonna be kind of running the show behind the scenes. I have another great. I gotta give a shout out to Anita Wamano, who is. If it wasn't for her, I would not be doing Sketch to Animate. She is my partner in this. I kind of brought her in as an intern and really realized the value of who she was. She's also part of the family. She's our cousin. And so she is now she built my website and was managing me and telling me, hey, Travis, you need to stop now, or you need to ask this question. And, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be in the place that I'm at now. But really, honestly, Wink will be there to moderate and kind of time. We won't be able to get to everybody during each Monday, but even if we don't, anyone that's a part of that will get a copy of the meeting or that live stream, so that they can use it as a learning curve or a learning tool by watching others. And you can also ask questions during that. But that'll be a private stream for anyone that's part of that tier.
Well, Travis, I thank you again. I'm getting the red flag.
Guys.
I will say I'm going to do a little bit of a closeout of the show here with you guys. But before we say goodbye to the whole show, let's everyone say bye and thank you to Travis. Thanks so much for being here.
Bye.
We'll see you on Netflix hopefully soon, right?
Hopefully soon.
All right. Thank you. Guys. Talk to you later.
Take care. Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for being here tonight. I just want to take a couple minutes to kind of wind things down before you head off here. First of all, thank you so much for being here for this premiere episode of Stay Tuned Live. A couple things I wanted to let you guys know. to how you can help the show to get out there. If you could share this video, that would be fantastic. If you tell a friend about it, whatever. Of course, you can watch it after the fact if you came in here late. I would like to also take just a moment, a couple moments here to say thank you to my patrons. I just mentioned Patreon a moment ago with Travis Blaise, and I have my own. This show, Stay Tuned, has its own Patreon as well. So if you go to patreon.com/Phil Machi, you can absolutely check that out there. And I would love to. Let me go ahead and pop this up here and take just a moment to thank my patrons. Let me go ahead and make this happen. Give me just a moment. Here we go. Whoops. Here we go. Okay, so there you go. So that's Patreon for you. Just check it out, and there's all kinds of tiers and stuff there. In the meantime, I did have one request from somebody in the chat room about what I'm working on, and well, there's not a whole lot of time. So what I will say is this: maybe next week I'll carve out a little bit of time to talk about that. But if you're curious about me and the characters that you see behind me on the wall, because all of them, they relate to the animation project that I'm working on, then please feel free to check out Retail Sunshine on Facebook. And there it is right there. That's the thing. Go to facebook.com/Retail Sunshine. That's the name of this series. And you can find progress photos, progress videos, things like that. It's a pretty exciting moment in my life as I'm animating a cartoon. First time doing it since college, which was years ago. So yes, anyway. And if you'd like to support this show directly, obviously Patreon is the way to do that. But the other way you can also do that is you can check out a little bit of the show on YouTube. So here's the YouTube URL. Go ahead and type that in when you have a moment. You can pause this video and check that out. As well as I have a PayPal virtual tip jar. Those of you who are into tip jars, there you go. There's that right there. That's my email for the show. So please feel free to do that at your generosity level of choice. And I thank you for anything and everything that you guys do. Please be back here next week, Monday, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. I will have another guest, probably Disney related. I don't have the name for you yet, but this show will be a weekly thing. So the more you can be here and support the show, the better. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate all of your support this evening. And yes, and don't forget that John Sarda, the piano player and Disney cast member, he plays his wonderful piano music before this show. So yes, definitely watch John Sarda before you come in and watch this show. Thank you for the reminder there, Scott. And I've got one more question from someone saying, would you be willing to chat with an up-and-coming young artist? Yes, Ted, I'm always willing to chat with up-and-coming young artists. Feel free to reach out to me directly on Facebook, and I absolutely welcome that. So thank you guys once again. See you all next week. And I will just wrap up, of course, by saying, I've been Phil Machi. You've been a wonderful audience. And until next week, keep those eyeballs peeled, those ears open, and be sure to stay tuned. Oh, wait, I almost forgot. I almost forgot one more thing. My gosh, those of you who don't know about this whole Stay Tuned thing, oh my gosh, I completely forgot. There's like 30 episodes of the podcast that inspired this show, and they're available for free. Just look up Stay Tuned in your favorite podcast app, or go to anchor.fm/Phil Machi And you can check out all the episodes with other animation, wonderful, talented people from all over the industry. You can check out my conversations with them. There's like 30 episodes, so go check it out. That way you don't have to wait a whole week before there's more show. You got 30 episodes to listen to. All right, see you next week, guys. Bye.